enjoy the show, play on my channel.
Look who it is. Look who's popping up.
He is popping up, and here he is, the champ himself, Connor. Wow.
Matita La Crema, Tony Leyanda.
Hey, what's up, man?
Welcome, sir, to the Tales of the Hunted podcast.
Look, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, champ.
Believe it or not, as brilliant as I am, and intelligent, and incredibly resourceful, handsome, and rich, I think the computer kind of defeated me a little bit.
It happens to the best of us. Even the great actor that played Jason Voorhees, that's going to be at the Great Media Comic-Con, he had issues with his computer. Technical gremlins pop up. It's not you, champ. It's actually, it's these little gremlins that pop up in life. Sometimes they're technical. Other times they try to trip you up. But being the champion, you can't let anything trip you up. Where do you find the motivation to stay on top?
Listen, let's backtrack. The person in my position doesn't have to deal with the rigmarole of setting these things up. I have people to do it for me. And because I've been so accustomed to this privilege that I've earned, days like today where I don't have the access of my crew, technology got the best of me. But where do you find the motivation? Well, look at it this way. A person of my caliber, how much success I've attained, it seems like it's always another mountain to climb. And maybe that's me in my growth mindset. Maybe I just have a never settle, I don't want to be complacent type of mentality. I don't know. So the motivation always exists because I'm still hungry, even though I'm eating quite well these days.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I noticed when I was doing the camera work at March to Glory, I noticed instantly the charisma that pours out of you. And I knew I had to have my fans hunt you on our platform because greatness is seen. You can tell it, especially it comes out like passion. Your drive for being on top really comes out in your presence on stage.
Champ, I think I can say it best as you said it well in commentary. You said that you wake up and you piss excellence.
That's a mighty strong feat to do. Hey, piss excellence.
So wake up in the morning. I go to sleep, and that's the worst part of my day. When I go to sleep. Why? Because I have to force myself not to eat myself for a good 5 to 8 hours if I'm lucky, But then I wake up in the morning looking forward to seeing myself in the mirror, and then I say, "Wow, thank God I'm the champion."
All right, so I'm going to do the formal introductions. You know me, of course, champ. But next to my box, with the hat backwards, is Marvel and DC comic book artist from the 80s and 90s, Mr. Frank Percy.
Just the 90s. What's up, man? How you doing?
He's trying to make
just the 90s. I don't know. The name gets longer. The titles get further apart. Forget if I had a credit card or a business card, these guys would fuck me up, completely,
100%. But his nickname on his network. Genuine human being. Absolutely. But Frank's nickname on this network, everyone has one. Oh,
God. Jesus Christ.
I am the Mat Man. The one above me is Christopher Bristow, the old man. And my co-host in Tales of the Hunted is Frank One Punch Percy. And he got that nickname. He shakes his head because he's afraid we're going to engrave it on his tombstone, old man.
They will.
We will.
They will.
We will.
I'm going to be cremated, so this way they don't know where I'm buried at, so don't scratch it on some, patch of ground or a rock someplace. Here lies this son of a bitch right here,
We will scorch the earth.
I know you will, yeah.
But he got that nickname because at I'm brain farting on the name of the wrestling league. He did the
ACPW.
Yes, ACPW. One of our first ventures in Projangers and Wall Hangers into the wrestling realm. Frank got on stage and one punched his way into glory. And that's why he is Frank One Punch Percy on this network, because he exudes greatness as well. Just like everyone in this box. We're all great. Not as much as you. I mean, I don't think anybody could be as great as you.
Yeah, you can't top the crema.
but that's no one's fault. You know what I mean? It's just that there's a bar. There's a bar in everything you do. Can we agree with that?
Yeah, every corner.
Yeah.
And I just happen to exceed the bar. So it's not so much that my opposition sucks or they're less qualified. They're great. It's just not as good as La Crema. And that's all it is. And I got to tell you something. So that means you are single-handedly responsible for shaping most of the people in my generations, right? Like childhood.
Yeah.
Providing good images for us, huh?
I tried. No one ever said it was good artwork. It's just like it was 3 a.m. It's due tomorrow. You got to handle it. So the Punisher, got a slick back hair. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You got a slick back haircut in page 7, and by page 19, it may not have been so slick, so.
Fun fact about the Punisher in Iraq, that was my call sign, Punisher.
Oh, get out of here, really?
And that was my call sign.
Nice.
I kind of earned that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. See, that's pretty cool. I guess in the moment you didn't realize you were going to be, legendary, but
still not.
Don't
listen to these guys.
Well, these are the greats operate. In the time where you're saying that I have charisma and when I do what I do for a living, I don't see it as charisma or greatness. I just feel like I have a goal and I want to achieve it by any means. If it's great for the audience and they consider me, to that higher echelon of professional wrestler, great. But in all reality, I come in as a champion and I'm trying to get paid and leave as a champion. Mm-hmm. And that's really all, that's all it takes, really.
That's a great goal.
Yeah. Well, even Chris will say, when I do go to these matches, because I am sole editor of this podcast network for about 5 going on 6 years, when I do get the time to go to these shows and I spot these really great pro wrestlers at these local shows, it just brings to one of the main reasons why we have expanded this podcast. Frank and I just tripped and stumbled onto this. I just realized that people want to be on a podcast and not just my friends. So we started having great indie content creators on. And when you look at pro wrestling, especially in our local level, you guys are the ultimate indie content creators because you are taking yourself, selling yourself to the crowd. These people paid to be there. They don't know what to expect, especially if it's your first local show. I've been to SmackDown, Raw, bigger shows when I was a kid because I live near Philly, and especially I hear a little show called WrestleMania is coming to town soon.
Mm. Yeah. They're going to give me a little call there so I can show up.
Not little.
And then they would just boost the card if you're on it there, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, right?
Do you need to showboat like that? I mean, yeah, it's WrestleMania, but you're bigger than that.
That's the one time I'm going to humble myself and enjoy this moment because I'm not going to humble myself too much because there's nothing to humble the champ. But I have goals and I haven't reached it yet. And I'd say that a good goal to have, a healthy goal, is to be on that stage with the very best. Essentially, you live forever once you hit that stage. And I think that I am hungry to reach that status.
And I can tell you have that drive.
We got some work to do. The job ain't done yet. People think that once you become champion, you could just let your hair down, but you got a target on your back. I'm going to train harder than ever. I'm taking AEW, that title, all around the world with me because that's the goal. And I'm going to show people why I am the AEW heavyweight champion. That title is pretty and all, but it doesn't make me. And quite the contrast. I'll make that title mean something, and that's my intention for this for 2024.
Your bout against Alvin Alvarez was top notch, to say the least, where you retained, but he was a hell of a competitor. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm bruised up. I'm not going to show you guys right now, but I'm still bruised up on my side. I don't know what he did to me. Probably one of those pounces that I bounce off the ring from the outside. I'm bruised. Legitimately, I'm bruised pretty bad, and it's been 2 weeks now, and it's wearing off, but the bruise is still there. So the pain subsided. Bruise looks really exaggerated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's like the saying goes, "This ain't ballet." But for all the dollars, I think that professional wrestling is fake.
Yeah.
This is why a lot of wrestlers have a problem with that fake word, because what we do is very much physicality, and we're not complaining because we love to do what we love to do. But it's not a patty cake exhibition. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Well, what I've told my friends that kind of like, tip their nose down to it is, you go to a movie, you're watching something that's scripted. You're watching something that takes years to perform, and when you go to a wrestling show, you're getting, if not better content, you're getting the actors are the performers. They're also the stuntmen. They're also the choreographers, and all wrapped into one. So to say that you wear many hats is an understatement.
Well,
Yeah.
here, let me bring it even further back than that, because I love to bring up history. Let's bring it back to the theaters in ancient Greece and Rome. Those actors were in front of the crowds, just like you guys are, feet away. There's a live aspect to that you get when you go to a wrestling show. I got the fortune, and it wasn't lost on me, to be the cameraman at that last AAW show, because I saw the card. I saw it was front row, $25. I get the fortune of being there, so I tried to put my all creatively into showing the audience what they needed to see, because I'm boots on the ground in that role. And out of some of the wrestlers really kind of latched in, especially the female match. Oh my God. And some of the matches, they told me, like, I was looking for you and you were there. And I kind of felt like that with your match as well, because there was like the bruises. I'm not surprised, but it sounds fucked up, but I'm kind of happy to hear it, because there was that level of entertainment to it. And I'm like, God damn, this guy is putting his all into this. And the entertainment, because everybody was eating it up in the crowd. That electrifying pop. When you get a pop like that from the crowd, that I just like, I see something here. I know there's something here.
It's I've never been. I could honestly admit I've never been a drug user, like not even marijuana. Like I've been that kind of a square, I guess, my whole life. Plus, being in the military kind of makes it hard to do that.
Yeah.
But I guess that would be what a junkie feels like when he or she gets her fix. It's a rush. It's inexplicable, because it's kind of hard to justify to your family, why do you keep getting beat up or bruised and injured and battered?
Yeah, why do you put yourself through that hell?
Why do you put yourself through that when you've been through enough? Especially for me, I have a lot of knowledge in me, right? Because my past life, and it was like I can't explain it. It's a different part of the brain, I don't want to get hurt, but you have to accept that this is the risk. And when you're a champion, you're going to have people like Alvin Alvarez that wants to just chop you through hell and punch you and do this and do that and drop you on your neck. And it's a physical line of work. No stunt doubles, right? One take. You mess up, it lives forever. You know what I mean? And the physicality is why us professional wrestlers have a problem with people using the F word. It's like you said, Chris, you watch action movies, you watch comics. No one ever says, well, Spider-Man doesn't shoot webs out his butthole either. So like, why do you have to judge me for being a professional wrestler?
Yeah.
Back to the matter. But then I kind of calm myself down, because people that say that are typically not my demographic. So why waste my time justifying that, right?
Well, I mean, it's the true definition of ignorance.
Yeah, but if I am that fake, I always invite people to try to do what I do for just 5 minutes. You can't hang with for 10. I know that for a fact. But try it for 5 minutes, and let's see if your lungs feel good. Let's see if your back feels good. Let's see if you didn't look like you've been battered and bruised by just running the ropes, which people think are bouncy cables or something. They bruise. They really bruise. We just develop a callus to it.
Oh,
So
I've
this is why you
seen
don't
how
see-
these rings are made and assembled by now, and I'm like, I'm good.
It just hurts. We just try to we train properly, and we try to do everything to preserve ourselves as much as possible. It's just an accepted part of the. It's
And with that preservation, with that preservation, folks like myself and the people that I bring around me, I know the biggest thing to do is to get exposure for you guys. So, as you know, you and I've had plenty of dealings in the past where I'm trying to get the best angle, the best shot, and that, part of me is like protecting or not, or trying to get like the best exposure to represent your skills.
And we appreciate that because those are the unsung heroes of the industry. You look at WWE, I guess the biggest company in all the world in professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
When you go to live shows, you see these huge trucks, right? And it's all production trucks. And they are extremely good at doing exactly what you do at a small level, but the effort doesn't go unnoticed because it's still a lot of work that you do. And you're just one person. And we appreciate that because we want to show the people the best version of ourselves. And sometimes it doesn't happen. So it doesn't happen as well as we hoped in our minds. And sometimes the camera doesn't capture exactly what we're feeling or how the people live processed it. But when you do your editing, Chris, I noticed that it elicits a response from the people watching it. How do I know this? My child responded to a video that you showed watching another match, not even mine. And it was all because of the proper editing. You were there at the right time. You got the right sound effects that people actually heard live. And it just told a good story, which is hard to kind of translate without commentary. Usually just tell a story, it translated really well on camera. So
I appreciate that.
Well, that's the brilliance of my business partner. And I had a business in podcasting before this 5 years ago.
2008. Let me tell you something. He'll tell you how we met, and he hated my fucking guts.
I did.
He hated me.
Some of that disdain is still there, but that's where the core of the friendship started. We worked at the Giant Deli together, and he was above me because he had seniority. And he had the privilege of training me. And through that... So you could
already tell that he was already acting like a clown.
He just... Oh, my God. And I'll tell my favorite story to tell after this because it really tells my whole time in the Giant Deli and how all the compliments and stuff I'm getting now from Projangers. If you asked any of those managers back then, they'd be like, that lazy asshole? Like, oh, yeah, that guy. So, Chris, I got so mad at him because he kept saying that the slicer wasn't clean. And I'm like, it's fucking clean, dude. What are you talking about? So and then we linked together because of video games. And like, okay, video games. And we would always talk and talk. Another friend of mine said, hey, I want to do a podcast with you because nobody knows video games in the industry like me, like you do. And I was like, well, what's podcasting? He's like, internet radio. I already had previous experience in that. So it came natural to me. So now when life happened and I stopped that company with him, and Chris came to me like, hey, I have a podcast company. I want you to listen to this podcast I did at my daughter's 8th grade career day. And I loved it. And
I was
instantly
at a
wanted to
career
have a
day.
business with this guy.
And my intro line was, I have a job where it's very boring, but allows me to do fun shit.
Yeah, but our first podcast together was with, thank God I have it, this Tascam recorder. We were going to drop his car off at his mechanic, and that was podcast number 9. Oh, man.
9 or 10.
It was
Your
9.
car ride.
Well, it was 9, which I'm thinking like now in hindsight, we so should have did like a Beatles kind of thing with that title, but it was just titled Matt Man, Old Man's Car Ride. And now we are at the one I just released was number 428, I believe.
428 episodes now.
Wow.
Now, because I know the questions are going to get a little bit spicy, this will probably be one of your best, if not the best, podcast to date.
Oh, absolutely, man. Because
Being ready, drinking off my Tony Leyenda La Maldita Crema personal water mug.
there we go. There we go.
I love it.
I would have to say it's this one, just for posterity.
Because you're the first wrestler that we've had on the podcast. And I'd even go so far to call you a wrestling nerd. Now, why is Matt Man saying this? The fans know because I love to say it to all my guests, and that's the name of the network, Perjangers. The clever man above me named it because there was nothing else with that name, and it's great marketing. Now, through our years of podcasting,
Google 101, you make up a word and you put it in Google, it will show up as the only thing.
exactly. So through podcasting, we began to be able to define it, and it's a person or group who they love and are infatuated with nerd and geek culture. Now, the best part about that is that you could be a nerd or a geek about anything. So the answer to what is a Perjanger is 42. You're a Perjanger. You're a Perjanger. You're a Perjanger. You're a Perjanger. Everyone's a Perjanger about something. And that's the beauty of the network and why this Tales of the Hunt had kind of evolved, because everybody needs to hunt these local wrestlers. As soon as I started seeing these local shows, I'm like, dude, if I kept up with that local, like with that wrestling fandom like I used to have, because I have a buddy, Teddy Schools, he's been on this podcast network. He's a wrestling fan, and his problem was that the main WWE and AEW, they get really formulaic and predictable, and I find that when I'm at these wrestling shows, it's not that at all. It's very much like you would go to what we're talking about with indie comics that Frank and I always talk about with these guys. Like, you're not, you're not Kane. You don't have to be Triple H. You can be inspired by Stone Cold, The Rock, by, all these different great people who did this craft like you. But you're just like indie comics. You are this this algorithm of all this different inspiration, and not even in wrestling, like Punisher, like your life experiences and stuff like that. That is what really makes your whole persona and you shine out amongst everybody else. And that's not to say that everybody else isn't great in their own right.
And Tony, here's what I love about professional wrestling for two reasons. It's the most pure art form out there. And everybody, when they say, what do you want to be like? If you look at the NHL, NBA, NFL, even MLB, they all imitate pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. That is one of the things that I love. Like, you can have your affiliations in sports, you can have your affiliations in what you like in baseball or basketball or football, but everybody's a pro wrestler. Everybody's a pro wrestling fan. So it's a wonderful art form, and I enjoy the art form.
Well, I believe that. One of my sayings is like, everybody was a pro wrestler until they somehow weren't. You weren't. You know what I mean? Pro wrestler, even in combat sports, they've adopted certain aspects of pro wrestling entrance music. Everybody has their routines and their rituals before that makes them unique to them before a fight or a match. And these are things that all stem from pro wrestling. We tend to be larger than life, although now there's a relatability aspect to pro wrestlers. I don't have that, unfortunately. I don't think that I'm the most relatable character, and I do that purposely.
Yeah.
Don't you even try with me. But that's the cool part of wrestling. You know what I mean? It's just.
But you look at how The Rock started out. He started out as the heel, and then he became the people's champ. And now, if people, your grandmother will make the "Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?" joke. That's all just because she probably never watched a match. She probably just saw that little part and saw that guy fucking jacked out of his ass. He's even bigger now.
SmackDown is made because of The Rock.
Like
just something that he said all the time.
Person that is a true nerd of their craft, being able to have somebody say, "You know what? No, let me spotlight this guy. This guy's got something to it. He has this raw passion of it that I see from these other greats."
Yeah, and we need that. We need that exposure because a lot of people say, "Hey, you're a wrestler, aren't you? But are you signed to like WWF?" They think, and I was WWE, but no. Also, you're not like a professional. You're an amateur. No, I'm a professional. It's just different levels. It's like how do I say it? I'm a baseball nerd. I'm a baseball pajanger, by the way. So
There you go.
I love it.
so a baseball player signed to the minor leagues is very much a professional. They just didn't make the show yet. So I consider myself in the minor leagues where top talent still roams, but maybe they didn't get a call back. Some people got sent down and they want to work their way back up. So the level of talent pool in the independents is high. It's really high. But for one reason or another, sometimes we don't get that opportunity because wrong place, wrong time, or whatever. Some of the greatest wrestlers in the world right now that are signed, they've been great for 10 plus years and just now, for some reason or another, getting the opportunity on a major scale. And when you guys showcase us and highlight the fact that we do exist, especially for my type of wrestling that I provide to the audience, we appreciate it because I feel like I deserve to. Well, I don't want to say deserve. I'm not entitled, but I feel like I can hang with anybody in this industry. I'll say it that way.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
that passion shows behind it. But also, I wanted to ask, what branch did you serve in?
I was in the United States Air Force. I won't say how long. I'll just say that I was E7 at the time that I decided to
okay.
pursue this full time.
Yeah,
But I won't say how long because I'm a rather young guy.
that's fine.
Just-
That's fine.
That's okay.
Well, thank you for your
Okay.
service, though.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Which is my main
Absolutely.
point is thank you for your service because there's a selflessness to that because you took time out of your life to serve our country so that I could sit here and talk about goofy shit with this guy.
Jesus, he's
It was
talking about
before your
Jesus.
time. It was before your time. Otherwise, I would have added you in there too. But that's what I'm saying. There's that kind of level that I also want to highlight here because we had on Stephen Russell from Tales of Nihilism, who was a paratrooper for 11 years. When, especially in Air Force and any of these military services, it's an important thing to highlight because when a lot of people get out of the service, there's that question of what next? How do you turn it off? How do you go? And being creative, even in wrestling, may be an option for people because they were a fan when they're a kid. And you know what? I got this buddy who's a wrestler. That may be an option because there's always a way to go about in life. And a lot of people, like what Stephen was saying, is when you come out of the service, there's that level of all your friends around you have already had this jump start on life. They've went to college. They've done all this. And to be able to pull something out of that time, and especially when it's something creative, whether it be comics or wrestling, it's something that is really important because other veterans need to know that they can do this as an option too. Not everybody knows that this is an option for you.
So I got a couple questions for you, Tony. All right. So hypothetical. Your 3 top opponents that you want to face this year on the independent circuit.
Question, yet horrible at the same time. Here's why. To say 3 means that I'm leaving people out. So here's the way I answer it, but it's also truthful.
I just said this year. There's always next year too.
So I'm doing this forever. From now moving forward, the best legitimate, honest answer that I can give you is I want to wrestle everybody. I want to wrestle your favorite wrestler because I need to show. I have this desire, this unquestionable, this unsatisfying like thirst to show people that I could do it as good, realistically better than their favorite wrestler. Whether they had TV exposure in a major company, whether they're your favorite wrestler on the independents, whether they're the high-flying spot monkey guy, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter to me. I want to be in there with the very best, or what they consider is the very best. And 2 things are going to happen. One of 2 things. Either we're going to have a great match, or your favorite wrestler will probably be exposed. Not that I'm trying to do that. I'm just saying that I'm noticing that there's levels to this, and I've also realized watching my stuff back that when I turn it up to a level 20, I bring something different. I bring something old school with a new school twist, and that's where my strengths come in because I don't do the high flying stuff. I don't, you know what I mean? But I just feel like I want to wrestle the very best in the business. So I'm happy that I got to wrestle in AEW, for instance, Darian Hardaway. I'm happy that Avon Alvarez got at the task to wrestle me. but some places are really I don't want to use I don't know if it's scared, but I feel like the level of apprehension to put their very
I can
best
see that.
against me, and I think
So
that's
I got two people that I would love to see you in the ring with.
who's that?
All right, the first is his favorite wrestler, TJ Reno.
I thought
So
the
first of
same
all-
thing. Fucking
So
love
he's messed
DJ.
up. He's messed up because I don't understand why I'm not his favorite wrestler, but I'll let him slide. I'll let him slide until next time I see him. Until next time I see him, I'm gonna give him hell. But TJ's
Oh, man.
I wrestled his father before.
Yeah. Wrestler number 2, O'Shea Edwards.
Love to wrestle O'Shea Edwards. Love. Hey, I actually wrestled TJ Reno and his father in a tag match. Actually,
No
it was
way.
at Tony's.
I filmed that, sir.
You were there?
I filmed
I
that
can't remember. Oh wow.
because I wasn't on commentary. That's why, because you didn't hear this sparkling, smooth, sultry voice that you're hearing
Yeah,
today.
there you go.
I'm just
There you go.
I'm just now
Show that
dipping my toes into this wrestling side of the company, but he's been doing this for the wrestling community for a long time. And it's one of the sides of the company that are not highlighted enough because I've been seeing the passion and drive behind this. But I've also seen that, like, I'm going to liken it to the comic community. The indie, and I'm going to say indie, but the pro wrestling leagues that we do have work with, they have some of the best content, but they've also, just like the indie comic creators that I've met, have been some of the most supportive. Like, hey, man, how about this person? How about this person? Especially the wrestlers. Hey, man, I really love this. That's what I love about that local scene is that everybody wants you to meet their friend. And you're like, absolutely. Love to meet him. That love is shown, even though you don't necessarily think you can feel that from a wrestling community. It seems to be a lot more business-minded in my mind.
It is because it's all about making dollars and cents. The problem is, I don't think people approach that as a business as well as they should, because if they did, they will have a Tony Leyanda against O'Shea Edwards. Which another aspect of working the best in the world is, or across the independents, is this, and I forgot to mention this also, Chris, is iron sharpens iron, right?
I was going to say the same
O'Shea
thing.
Edwards is
The same thing.
experience. Let's be honest. Let's be objective here. O'Shea Edwards is far more experienced than I am, and he's been to levels that I haven't been yet, right? So why would it would make perfect sense for me to wrestle him, and prove that I can hang, first of all, or maybe even outperform. But we will never know that if the promoters don't go out there and take their heads
No
out
one
of the butt.
presents the opportunity to do so, and that's the thing is like you said, iron sharpens iron. You would then learn parts about your game that you know, no disrespect, champ, but you would learn parts of your game that you might have to improve, even though that there's nothing that you have to improve. Just calling it out there for the standard, but you might see something. You might see something that he's doing that you want to incorporate into your game.
Of course. There's always little tricks of the trade. He's been doing it for, I don't know how long he's been wrestling, but I know it's far longer than I have. And
Yeah,
because he's so well
been
traveled,
around for a while.
he's so well traveled that you have no choice.
He's over in England right now.
England. That's not
So
exactly
there's always
local.
things he can learn.
Yeah, he's over in Liverpool right now training.
Nice.
Wow.
You know, he's not the only one traveling. In May, I get to wrestle one half of the WWC Tag Team Champions in Florida.
No shit.
WWC Carlos Colon's promotion.
Wow.
I get to wrestle their champion, who also happens to be a Tag Team Champion in WWC.
That's awesome.
Chicano Cotto.
I mean, nothing. I can brush off my managerial hat anytime.
And he won't even
So
have
I look forward to that.
the product placement of Amerigas in there.
No, I won't. Even though they're really big down in Florida.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and suffice to say, they hate me out there terribly. And they haven't even seen me wrestle.
I've gotten plenty of heat being a manager before, so I had to change clothes, duck out of the bar, do the whole nine. I know I can play my role well.
That means you're doing your job. I love it.
Good managerial skills. It just comes naturally to him.
I mean, the crowd doesn't like being called jackwagons, but what do you expect?
But if you call it how they see it, typically when you call it how you see it, they don't like it. This is probably why I said I'm not a relatable character, but I don't care. I don't care because I
You're
have
getting a
goals.
reaction is everything that tells you something.
Right. Like I would humble myself. Why? Why should I humble myself when I work extremely hard, when I make no excuses, and I work hard to be the champion? Why should I humble myself when I don't look like you? Be a part of the people. I don't look like you. I make incredible amount of money. I make a good living. I'm handsome. I can get virtually any woman in the world that I want. And by virtually, I mean really, literally any woman that I want. That's not a relatable feature. I am not your neighbor next door.
Mhm.
The guy from next door. I'm not the around the way all-American kid. I'm just not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
I'm
all right.
sorry.
I
6'3", 230 pounds. Not the biggest in the world, but definitely incredibly powerful and gifted. I'm not a relatable person. I'm not. And then I'm bilingual. So people will call me, oh, he's stupid. He doesn't speak English. I don't have 2 degrees. And it's like, what do you want to tell me? Like, what do you want to tell me? I'm a great wrestler. You suck. I know. That's why I keep winning. That makes total sense. It's like calling the championship team, like, you won the World Series. You guys suck. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Come on.
I love the ring on my finger.
that's it.
Let's just be objective. We gotta be objective here. Like I know wrestling could be a very subjective sport. I get it. You know, apples and oranges. What do you like? But when it comes down to the metrics, I'm checking all the boxes. I checked them all in 2023, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm highly, highly disappointed how 2023 ended up, and I'll leave it at that. But 2024 can't end the same because I just don't get it. How do you finish the year off on top and not get recognized like you should, and yet less caliber wrestlers we get recognized. I just don't get it. Like, what's the metrics? You know what I mean? Like, what's the measuring stick here? Like, what are we doing? What's the formula? What's the algorithm?
Right.
So,
Well, you can't leave it up to the fan base because they'll just make up their own shit.
The algorithm is attacking us all.
It's true. There's no reason why I shouldn't be moving other places, but it's happening. It's happening slowly but surely, and I'm grateful for that. But
You know
I'll just
what?
keep working hard.
They just want to keep you at the level of humble that you are. They don't want to give you so much greatness because they want to keep this amazing level that you're at, champ. Mentally wise, you're already there. They want to give it to you slowly as a trickle, but you just gotta show them. No, that's not the way to do it.
No, this is just a comment dig at Best Buy. This is like, you know, you're their best salesman, but you go for the manager job and they don't promote you because you're their best salesman.
There you go.
We can't have that. We can't have that. I have goals to reach, and if I'm
No,
checking all the
it happened to me 9
boxes,
times and I left.
I'm checking all the boxes, and we got to keep moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the formula?
All right, champ. So what dates do you have coming up?
Yeah, man.
Oh boy, let's
Where can we find you?
About the old calendar here. So this Thursday, I'll be traveling to the Wrestling Open. Just put out a tweet or X stating that they having trials. I'm gonna take the trip. I think I'm gonna take the trip to good old Massachusetts there. To check them out. Then Friday, I'll be in Gloucester City for Super Crazy. Contract signing my SKPW because, yes, I've been SKPW heavyweight champion. Hear this right now. I know this because I researched it yesterday. 747 days. No, 757 days today.
Wow.
Okay. And next month, WrestleMania week, Adrian Soriano, the SKPW interim champion. He's not the real champion.
Yeah, he's the interim heavyweight champion.
Inside of a steel cage. So we have the contract signing this Friday. And I'm going to go there wearing my Sunday best on a Friday. And I'm just going to sign a nice contract, let them know that, we're going to have a nice and fair contest. And I'm going to leave. I'm not going to wrestle. I'm not going to hurt nobody. Not going to break anyone's back. That's my word. I'm giving it to you guys here first, and that's what's going to happen. And then a lot of traveling going around for the rest of the month. I take a little break, and then here comes that WrestleMania weekend. We have the All for One show on Friday.
April 5th. Yep.
Yeah, right. April 5th. The 4th will be the Super Crazy show. Let's see what happens for SmackDown, WrestleMania Night 1, 2, and the Raw after WrestleMania. Let's see what happens.
I like it. I can't wait to be there because I'm gonna be at the events. I'm gonna be your roaming camera guy wherever needed to get those shots so the people can see you, champ.
I'll find it. I'll smile for the ladies at home. I'll wink my eye, pop my pecs. You know what I mean? Lick my lips. Do what the ladies like. You know, I'm a people pleaser sometimes too.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
One of my favorite things, because I do like to research my guests, but one of my favorite clips was on your Facebook of the one woman at the event giving you the finger, and then I think you were like popping your pecs, and she was like, "Oh my god, hang on."
I'm not a negative person. I can't help myself. So what she did was give me.
I rolled out of this chair laughing, man. I rolled out of this chair laughing. That was the funniest goddamn thing I saw. But that's how you win them over.
What happened was she gave me the finger, and I read what she. I understood what she said. So I said, "You wish." Unfortunately, it can't happen. So then she realized it. She shook herself off because she's like, "Yeah, I kind of want to do that to him." I'm like, "No, I can't. This is nothing against you, but you're not quite ready for me, baby."
You realize this was a proposal. No, thank you.
No, thanks.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Different movie.
He was trying to solicit the champ, but
it's smart.
It's not that easy.
It's a smart way to go about it. You got to keep your head in the game, man. That's how they try to drag you down.
That was on her vision board, just so you know.
But I deal with a higher caliber woman, and women that are that trashy to throw me the middle finger, it's not the kind of woman that deserves to be with a champ. You know what I mean?
There you go.
So I mean, it is what it is. People misconstrue that as, "Well, they hate you showing me the finger," and I'm like, well, that's no way to talk to the champion. But I understood what she was saying. But even then, it's inappropriate. She could have easily asked me like a lady and say, "Hey, how you doing, champion?" But
let's go. Like, hey, no,
it is what it is.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah.
No, that's a true representation of the people of Gloucester City. It is. No class, no decorum. You know what I mean? I raise my hand and speak, they make noise, which is why I have to gently tell them to please be quiet because I have something to say. And these are just it's the process of being a champion, and you have to deal with it. I signed up for this, you know what I mean?
You did, but I think you're handling it well, okay?
You have anything to say to the champ?
You're a professional.
No. You're not. He's okay.
You're just gonna meh me?
He's not satisfied, he says.
I don't think he's going to be saying that when he sees you in person, champ.
There you go.
He's already been yelling at Tony a couple times during the show.
Stomp out TJ Reno for you and make you feel good. How about that?
That's one of his favorites, man. Infamously in the show, he helped TJ up and give him the power he needed to win a match. So I think he just needs to see you stomp down his hero.
Between TJ Reno and I don't need help from no kid, no woman, no nothing to get back on top. When my back is against the wall, I go into my bag of tricks and make it happen.
There you go.
That.
What if I grab and I slap you?
Come up to the mic and say it. Don't say it from back.
Say it from back there. Yeah, get up to the mic. Say it with your chest.
What if I grab a pan and slap you with it in the face?
First of all, how about you greet me like a young man and then threaten me? So how about you try again? Say hello to me and then go ahead with your threat.
No.
I think somebody else is getting the pan up there. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. Somebody has to teach the kids manners.
He's a purple belt in karate, and he's in collegiate wrestling.
There you
I
go.
have a nice purple belt. It's a Louis Vuitton, and I'm a champion in professional wrestling.
There you go.
How about that, kid? What
Yeah,
you gotta say about that?
Is the Louis Vuitton belt black? Because then you have a black belt and you beat his purple
I also
belt.
have a black one and a brown and a gold one. Do you have that kind of a belt?
There's no gold belt.
What?
He's got a belt. He's the champ.
Then I have many titles because I'm a champion. Are you a champion?
Let him break your window with your gold title.
You can't break my window because you wouldn't know where I live. And if you did, you couldn't reach because I live in a mansion.
No, I think you do it.
You have to
Go back to playing your game.
ladder to get up there.
Jeez, Connor.
We got to work on your
I
smack talk.
apologize, champ. I apologize.
Yeah.
We got to work on your
It's not, it doesn't flow. It doesn't
There's
flow.
one thing
It
I don't
works,
like
but it doesn't
besides
flow.
ugly women that can't cook is kids. I hate all children. All of them. Children and ugly women.
You're right.
Oh,
in the
man.
right. You're right in the right industry. You're in the right industry. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
I get this all the time from kids. Always insulting me, booing me.
They're jealous.
Like, you know what I mean?
Like, they're just
To
jealous.
hit me.
You know,
And
they're
they threaten
jealous.
me. They really threaten me.
They don't have your level of success yet, so they just see it and they're scared and they're just like, "Oh, I just have to be jealous
But I
to save
tell them,
myself."
say, hey, kid, just watch me. You'll learn how to be a winner, too. You just say nasty things when I say these. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm trying to help you out. I'm giving you the blueprint. You may boo me and disrespect me and say mean things to me. And then
a lot of-
and then they come back and say, "Hey, champ, sign my poster." They don't say please. They go, "Sign my poster."
Ugh.
You're gonna treat me
They
like
making a
that.
demand? That's what they're doing? They're making a demand?
Of the champ.
Kids do that.
I can't
The kids
believe
do
that.
that.
I can't believe they make
I
demands of
was
the champ.
difficult.
And I look at them like they're weird, and I go,
Keep
"You're gonna sign it?
doing it.
Yes or no?"
This one over here.
The instant hater in the background. Just
No, and then he goes back to playing his game
Yeah.
as if I don't exist. I'm
yeah.
only the champion.
So not to put a little nudge and rib onto Matt here, but a lot of the things that you've said about blueprint and living by action, I've told him, I've told Matt plenty of times, and we do this weird little inception thing where it takes him about 3 to 4 months, and when he's like, "I just had this idea," and be like, "Yeah, I told you that 5 months ago."
And then he tries to take credit as if it was his brainchild.
Look, sometimes the source of the creative flow is lost on me, okay? Did anybody ask where Leonardo da Vinci got his creative, flow from? No. They didn't ask, "Hey, da Vinci, why are you great?" No, they didn't ask him that. They just said, "Oh, this is part of Leo's work. We're going to enjoy it. It's a masterpiece." Like you, champ, I have haters as well. It's
If
weird.
you're gonna say something, I'm not listening right now.
Oh, I remember that time when you called everybody a motherfucker in the crowd.
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and argue this one. Highly unlikely that I did that.
He doesn't swear at the crowd in those events.
Highly unlikely. You can say anything you want about me, and I'll laugh it off. And especially, and I don't like you, kid. I hate your hair. I hate your shirt. I hate your video game. I don't like nothing about you. But I will never curse at you. I will promise you that. I'll do mean things to you. But I will never hit you, even though I really want to, and I'll never curse at you.
Oh, yeah.
So you're wrong. But that makes sense. You will lie about the champion.
Yeah.
See?
He's still the champion, Connor.
That's not true. You also did it.
No, don't repeat it.
He's a champion, okay? And champions keep themselves to a certain level of greatness, okay?
A certain level of prestige that they have to carry with themselves.
There's a level of decorum that a champion has, and it's a lot like royalty from medieval times. You can just realize, oh, this is a great person.
What do you guys say about that? Trying to accuse me of using dialect unbecoming of a champion. How dare you, young man? How dare you?
But it's true.
And I see you. Listen to me real good. Swear to my dead goldfish that when I see you, you're gonna regret everything you say about me. Understand that? Swearing to my dead goldfish, and I love that guy.
All
I
right,
mean business.
that means business. It does. You're gonna
The
regret your words.
gauntlet is thrown. The gauntlet has been thrown down. Okay.
You're challenging for the belt then.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that.
Then why are you jawjacking?
Yeah, don't go poke the bear, okay?
When I see you in AEW and you're eating your popcorn or your hot dog, I'm gonna make it my business to come right to you and take your popcorn and enjoy it, and then proceed to beating up whoever it is I'm wrestling. I'm gonna do that. How does that make you feel to know that I'm gonna do that to you?
How does it make you feel?
Oh, I'm not gonna have anything.
He's going to take your ammunition away by not feeding you drinking.
So you're not gonna eat the whole show?
Yeah.
Okay, tough guy.
We'll see.
taking something from
We'll
you.
see.
I'm taking
I would
something from
love
you.
to see you jet out from the back as soon as these are about to snatch a hot dog and be like, no, I told you.
He goes back to playing his video game.
I will follow that all the way. I know it will happen. Like, hey, champ, he's eating.
Oh my gosh. I gotta tell you, like when I became a wrestler, the bug was so like I guess it bothered me so much that I had to make it happen. I was still in the service. I told myself that one of the emotions that I want to elicit is the same feelings that I got as a kid. And whenever I get some type of, I've had kids, believe it or not, kids curse me out. And I don't curse
I
them,
know.
they curse me out. But then
I've been there. I've seen it.
and I think to myself, like, whatever, they're feeling something. And I'd rather them feel that than feel some type of hatred at school or their parents or whatever. And that's one of the many reasons why I do what I do for a living, because that's what
And to kind of flip this full circle is like some of these kids that come to these events, this is all they have. And they could be going home to like poor situations or situations, and they're actually feeling something. They're allowed to express themselves, and they're getting all that pent up frustration and anger out, and we're giving that to them. We're being that release of that bottleneck that for them. Like I tell Matt all the time, when I do these events, this is my therapy. Like I go out and I get to be in a world where I don't have to be myself. I can still be a version of myself, but I can be somewhere where I don't have to, I'm carefree. I'm doing all these things and I'm paying it forward.
And you know what though? I'm actually, in my own way, I am enjoying that, because I just released the first episode of Dungeons and Dragons podcast that I'm doing with comic book writers that I've picked up along the way in Tales of the Hunted. Frank Percy being one of them, as well as Aleem Legit, who is part of the Heroic Awards People's Choice. His comic Diary of Sweet Pea, 2 comics in, he's already getting a Hero's Choice, People's Choice nomination. And with Dungeons and Dragons, I found that being able to go into this character to where even these guys that I know and I've had on the podcast, they know me personally, they're like, dude, your character, it's so ironic how different the two are. So I get being able to play into that character who's just unlike you and being able to really sink your teeth into it. And well, I say unlike you, but yeah, you mix it. That's because that's kind of what I do with my character in D&D, but you're doing like physical D&D, if I were to put it in a nerdy reference.
Well, no. For me, yes and no. My character, to me, is a release. It's therapy to me also. But my character is very much me. Turn to the 20. It's not even turn to a 10, it's turn to a 20. Only Leyanda is me. It really is. Yes, there's some parts of exaggeration, but that's a turn up to the 20 part.
Yeah.
There's a level of intensity and feeling that I elicit. I'll tell you that most of my interviews or the way I interact with people, there's a layer of truth in everything that I say. Not everything, obviously, but there is a level of truth, which is why it's easy for me to speak the way I speak, because I'm really not thinking about it. Sometimes I want to be a little bit aggressive. I want to punch people in the face. But that's not the way we act in a civilized society where you just keep around punching people. You could, but there's consequences, right? So like there's a level of release in that sense and freedom, because I'm doing it in the scope of my responsibility. But in all reality, I am every bit of crema. If you know me outside of the ring, I tend to be a little bit more, I guess, humble. But everything else,
a little
same. I'm pretty out there. So yeah, it's one of those yes but no. It's a release, but it's me. It's me jacked up to a high level.
Well, I was poorly trying to attempt to tell him, Frank, how I get that putting it into a character a part of wrestling, especially with what we've been doing with our Dungeons and Dragons League hit points and half measures.
Right.
It's fun to be able
Matt.
to do that. But like he's saying, you also kind of pour yourself into that character. And it's fun to do that. With him, it's a lot more physical. And I think the audience immediately gets to see your effort when you are out there in that character. Because like I said, instantly latched on to you as a person. Like, I could tell this guy has a lot of passion for what he's doing. He comes out
man.
with gravitas. He makes himself
Here's the thing,
known.
though.
You know,
Here's the thing on that. Tony Leyanda doesn't have to roll for initiative.
man. Well,
That's
yeah.
true. That is true.
The
That is
die
true.
automatically rolls to what his initiative is.
I'll tell you.
We can't have you on our Dungeons and Dragons League. You would automatically nat 20 everything. I'm sorry. It's already broken enough. Like, Joe, go
There you
handle that.
They're already dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I definitely see where you're going with it. There's some similar. Believe it or not, there are wrestlers out there that just, who they're playing a character. What I like, my thing is, I don't want to play a character because then, I've done acting classes.
Mhm.
I've done an indie movie even, so I learned a little bit about that, but I can't say that I'm an expert when it comes to that, right?
Mhm.
But what I am an expert is on myself, and I know my character. I know my character's backstory, and I don't have to think about it because it's basically based on my real life, right?
Mhm.
Just like I said, turn to a 20. So when I work,
He'll be getting ready for bed. He's been jaw jacking Tony here.
looking according to my environment,
Yeah.
And I guess with Dungeons and Dragons is a little bit different, but with my wrestling, it's really not that hard to turn it up because it's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that keeps it simple in my mind. I don't have to pretend now, which makes it natural
I mean,
to react.
So
Well,
another follow-up question is who would you think is the best or one of the best wrestlers outside of yourself that is being themselves turned up to 20?
yes.
There's a lot. There's really a lot. And you know who I look up to? There's a lot. So if I don't mention somebody, there's no knock on them. It's just right now off the top of my head, you put me on the spot. I like the guys who've been doing it older than me. They have a level of intensity that's like, okay, I get it. So you guys are familiar with Dan Maff and people like Dan Maff,
Refresh my memory, champ.
John Donovan. They are
I know Donovan. Yeah.
to Slaughter tag team together.
Mhm.
Individually together, they bring a dynamic. They call themselves old school because they're older fellas, and I get that. But in all reality, what they do in the ring, eliciting emotion and their response, them. If I was to show you a picture of them right now, they'll look legitimate to you, and you haven't even heard them talk. You haven't seen them wrestle. They just look like the people that we grew up watching in those days. And
Yep.
these are the kind of characters. It's like, yeah, that's them. It's them turned up to a 20. I'm not saying they're jerks or mean or violent. I'm just saying that you could tell that character is not. It's not something they have to just struggle to pull out because it's.
Yeah, I saw Donovan wrestle Fozzy at the last Super Crazy show that he was there.
Yes.
I think it was Redemption.
Yep. And this is what I'm talking about, that level of professionalism. And I look up to guys like that, and I watch them. I watch them and I study them because they always do the subtle things that makes wrestling, it legitimize their sport.
Mhm.
And I like that. I love that.
Preacher's another one, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I look at guys like that. See, there's so many. There are so many. Like, believe it or not, I believe that there's a lot of strong talent across the independents. Yeah, you have your guys that are just like, "What are you doing?" And girls like, "What are you doing?" Like, okay, I don't believe in you. But there's a lot of guys out there that aren't signed, maybe not even on the radar, that are actually that good.
Yeah.
And these are the kind of people that I want to wrestle.
And the wealth of knowledge and skill just in the tri-state area, let alone outside to New York and Connecticut and Maryland and Virginia, and Florida. And I know you wrestled down in Texas as well. It's
Texas. Yeah.
I remember just the level of knowledge and skill that is in our area. We should be grateful that it still exists in our area because it is a lost art form.
Oh, yeah. But also with the advent of social media, that's what I think lends a lot more credence to what you're doing, because you're going to all these different leagues, you're going and doing all these different events. All these different events have their own social medias. They have people who follow them. Now your name is not as limited as it was to wrestlers
That's
back in the day who had
that's
to
a positive
go
and a
around
negative.
the country. They had to stay on the grind. They had to maybe play some small shows. They had to go to the biggest ones they could. They had to put their nose to the grindstone. But that's not lost, because now, in this infinitesimal pool of content that everyone has, especially on YouTube and other streaming platforms, you can reach a lot more people, to where now, you can have these people who are not even in this local area. Maybe they grew up around here and they're like, nah, man, there's this local wrestling league I watch on YouTube. These guys are great.
So,
but then the other part of that is you can't be fixated to the environment you live in. So, like, for example, I relocated back to this area back in 2020, 2021, during the pandemic. And so I'm relatively new around here, right? I noticed, and this is the advice of my coaches and people who have been around, even you can't just rely on social media. Social media is a good tool, and you need to use it. If you don't, you're failing yourself as a professional. But you also need to do what the old school guys did, which was travel and grind, because that's how locally some people who aren't necessarily as educated, because most wrestling fans, traditional wrestling fans, they know big TV wrestling, right?
mhm.
A hardcore fan, a pajanger, will say, "Well, let me go on YouTube because I'm going to find some good stuff." And this is and these are different. Wrestling already is a subculture, but within the subculture, you have different niches within, so it makes it even that much more finite and difficult to kind of get seen. And that's the kind of struggle that I'm going through right now, where I need to get seen, but I need to probably travel more. I'm traveling a lot. I mean, I just had a show in Massachusetts on Saturday, but I needed to do even more. You know what I mean? It just needs to be more.
Question, and this is a double-edged sword with this question. At what point did you think social media was a negative impact on wrestling, and at what point did it make the swing back to being positive?
It's the same thing that happens now. It's pros and cons to everything.
Yep.
You can't eat your cake, have your cake and eat it too, right? So I think social media is a gift because of what you said, that now you could bring social media to their homes, more eyes on the product, and social media will make you. You have to be in the right place at the right time, unless you're this anomaly in the business, And I'm only 6'3". You might think that's tall, relative to the world of wrestling. Okay, well now, I walk next to Randy Orton, who's probably 6'5", but there's a drastic difference.
I would look like his child.
He outweighs me by
okay.
Yeah, and he outweighs me by a good 15, 20 pounds at least visually. And I'm not the smallest guy either, but it's just levels to these things.
Yeah, he's 265 at 6'5".
Right.
I gotta tell you, out of everybody in this box right now, you're probably the only one who stands a chance against Randy Orton. Out of all four of us, that's something to be said. Okay, you know what I mean?
Not a hard thing to say, though.
It's a low bar. It's a low bar, but he's still our only hope.
Right? There's a difference to it, So social media enhances your capability to reach to the masses, which is good. Where social media goes against pro wrestling is, and I don't mean this in a bad way. So I hope that doesn't get spliced up into people. Think of it as a positive way.
It's not. It's not a bad. It's just like there is a slight negative impact.
There is, and fans, they want access to their wrestlers, but they can't have certain access to me, for instance, because I sit on this side of the barricade. If I wanted to sit with the fans, then I'd be a fan and a spectator, not a performer. Yeah, I'm always going to be a fan to the day that I die, but I'm a wrestler. I'm a pro wrestler. I'm an athlete. And for me to maintain this larger than life status or attempt to be somebody that you want to watch because it's an attraction, I can't go to your side. And wrestlers tend to bleed those lines. Bad guys don't want to be hated anymore for the most part. I don't really care to be hated. I thrive off it because it's my job to elicit that kind of response. So therefore, I don't want to shake your hands and kiss your babies. And people have a serious problem with that. Back in the day, people got real heat where they were threatened and it was serious business, right? Now I've noticed that when wrestlers try to get heat, those few that try, fans hate it legitimately. Like for me, and they try to make me lose my job because they hate the fact that I'm that person in real life.
Yep.
And it's like, well, you have to have good guys and bad guys for every story. So let me do my job. You cheer for your guy and let me do my job. And so it's a weird world. So when a fan tries to message you on social media and you pretty much respond as Tony Leyanda, they feel like it's a personal shot at them. But I'm not here to blur any lines, I'm here, if anything, I'm here to suspend disbelief. That's my job. In a world that people call it fake, and Vince McMahon, which I don't know if I should be saying his name, he pretty much exposed it during the Attitude Era. Hey, this is sports entertainment. I still have a job, and I owe people, fans, even if you're not a fan of me, I owe you. I have the duty, the obligation to try to suspend your disbelief. It's like you go to a magic show, and we all understand that magic isn't real. And at one point, does the magician go, "Guys, I'm gonna pull a rabbit out of my hat"?
Yeah.
Hold on. You know what I'm saying? So I have essentially the same job.
Where'd he get that rabbit? Yeah.
Right. And that's the pros and cons of social media. Too much access, and it creates hatred, legitimate hatred when you don't give them that access. But the pros is beautiful because now you can reach promoters, you can reach, you could use content, and if that content happens to go viral, you may get more booking opportunities. Those booking opportunities can get you in contact with the bigger federations and make you more money. Because at the end of the day,
it comes full circle as well. It's because, like, you could. These are your colleagues. At the end of the day, these are your colleagues. You can still be fans of your colleagues, and like I know, all kidding aside, you're a fan of the work that I do. You're a fan of the work that Matt does. Like, because we're all helping each other, so we could still support each other and put, cliche for Projangers is build each other up, because that's one of our mission statements. And when I stood up this company, is to build other people up, and don't take any negative feedback.
Yeah, the wrestling business the same way. One hand washes the other. So Alvin Alvarez brought it to me, but by him bringing it to me, he brought out the best of me, which makes me step up my game to another level. And we both had a good showing. Yeah, he lost. I'm still the champion, but even in his loss, I think he came out a victor because he did what he was supposed to do, and he had a good showing. You know what I mean? And
you both earned a level of prestige that you didn't have before that.
I never thought I'd actually get to use this, but the rest of that saying is one hand washes the other, but both hands wash the face. That is so telling of that, because you're both washing the face. You're both doing the match. You have to put on this good show, and somebody has to be a winner, somebody has to be a loser. Whether it's the bad guy winning or the good guy losing, whatever it is, you have to put on that show. And the fact that it upsets fans says that you're doing your job. It's just like the people who portray the villain, and they get like death threats and hate messages. Like, you're doing it right. Just post and ghost. Don't look at the comments. Once you get to a certain level, just don't look at the comments. You're above those comments, champ.
I like reading the comments because I like laughing at them.
Oh man, that is entertaining.
It doesn't affect me. I understand that I could be public enemy number one anywhere I go because of what I say, what I do, how I act. So it's a part of the business. If I can't handle that, then I need to gain.
You're in the wrong field.
Yeah, I need to leave. So I'm good. My veterans, the people who raised me in my past life, were Gulf War vets. They were raised by Vietnam War vets. I'm an Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Udon guy. I'm cut from a different cloth. So people's negativity, it doesn't affect me because it's just criticism. It's empty. If you give me feedback, I can work with that because I have a clear path to improve. But critique, people were legit. You're ugly. Really?
That's what you're going with?
Give me something I can change,
Really?
hey,
exactly.
I kind of think like during this match you could have did this better. That is different than, your feet smell, which is like a comment
I'm not really
Connor would say.
Yeah, but but unfortunately in this industry, a lot of wrestlers who are not cut from the same cloth as I, and there's no knock to them.
That's okay.
I'm just saying that.
I mean, they get beat up by the comments. Not me. The champion isn't. I don't care. I just don't care because I have a job to do. I have a mission, and I'm fixated on my goals. Like, obsessed really is the word that I'm just not gonna let insignificant comments change my mood or
Well,
I don't know
yeah.
anything.
But
So
one thing I
about
do like to point out is that when the people that you meet, champ, they're just a ball of trauma that somebody else left on your doorstep. So really, it's them. It's not you. It's them.
It's not.
You should write
It's not.
fortune cookies, man. You really should.
I'm here.
man.
I'm here to make. I'm here to make your life better. You know, it's not my fault that Daddy left. Listen, Daddy's never coming home, but Daddy's here. You can call me Daddy. I'll take care of you.
The pack
I'll
of cigarettes
help
was a
raise-
couple miles away. He's coming.
Yeah. I'll raise your child, and I'll provide a good example of what it is to be a man. I'll show all the wives out there what kind of man and the caliber of man they should probably aspire to get. I'll show the ladies what kind of man they should want to date and marry. I'll do this for you, but you have to open up your minds and realize that I'm not the bad guy. I know I may seem like it, but I'm doing it for the greater good. That's all it is.
It's what the
I'm a
people
champion.
need. They need a champion like you right now.
They knew it's not even a want at this point. It is a necessity. Like the world is
So-
going downhill right now, but we're gonna fix that. I have faith in mankind. We're gonna fix that, and it starts with the champ.
Now that
I'll take that responsibility.
now that I podcasted with you, I have a little bit more faith in humanity, champ. A little
should.
bit more. I mean, I feel good now.
Yeah.
The world's fucked,
should.
but we got a champ. It'll be fine.
So, champ, I'm always about giving shout outs. So, who did your music? Because it is a banger, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you mean the non-YouTube music that I got, the original music that I have?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you exactly who did it. He's going to love this because he's actually talented. So when I was poor back in the day, I actually grew up in New York City, believe it or not. Right?
Really?
I'm Dominican, right? But I grew up in New York City, and I met a childhood friend, still my friend to this day. His name is Georgie. Georgie the Illest. If you want to look him up on Instagram, is GDI Beats. At Instagram, Georgie the Illest Beats. And he is a rapper, singer, / producer. He raps and sings in English and Spanish. And when I started this wrestling gig, he said, Champ, he called me Champ back then. He knew what was up. He said, hey,
He knew.
you mind if I write your music? I said, yeah, of course, man. And he said, I know you're good at it. He gave me the version and I ran with it. I loved it. I ran with it. Then when I became champion, champion 3 times, 4. I was doing the Dominican Day Parade, no lie, with 4 titles on me. It was pretty hard. I was walking miles and miles with the mayor of New York, no big deal, with 4 titles on me, right? He's like, you need something else. You need a remix. You're not the same wrestler. And he's right. I wasn't the same wrestler. And he did the remix that you don't know, Chris. And yeah, it's called Que Lo Que. It's an original piece, so you're not going to find it anywhere on YouTube besides his channel, by the way. And he wrote it for me. The lyrics, they're Spanglish. And the lyrics are designed for me. Like, he wrote that song as if he was me. It's brilliant. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And that's why I wanted to give a shout out and like give you some time to shout him out, man.
Well,
And
that's
Georgie,
awesome.
Georgie the Illest, GDI Beats on Instagram, Georgie de Rosario on Facebook. Oh my God, he does anything. I mean anything, any genre. He's just that talented.
If he wants to be metaphorically hunted, not real hunt gang, metaphorically hunted, tell him to reach out because I long ago I started a automotive podcast with my brother called Lugnuts, and I got this guy, my buddy Joe knew. His name is James Legion. He's of a heavy metal band, like scream metal, of Cultist Black. And they're doing really well right now. But back in the day when they were trying to get their first album out, they ended up, doing a couple theme songs for me. One, and all original work. One is the bit of music I'm going to put in the podcast when I do edit this podcast and put it out, which is an 8-bit theme that Chris and I were just like, hey, here's some sample music we've been doing for the podcast. We want that. But the podcast I do with my brother, Lugnuts, that was the one I said, all right, I want this song to sound as iconic as the Allman Brothers song that Top Gear uses for their intro. But I want it to hit as hard as Godsmack's 1,000 horsepower for goalposts.
So that gives you the baseline.
And he nailed it. Every time I turn on that song to start off the podcast, it starts off sounding like an engine, like, hot for teacher. So getting that original music from somebody, like I just fed him goalposts. Like, hey man, this he has an impact camera going. He has a high pitch '80s hair metal scream in there, huge guitar riff. Like getting that indie, music guy involved into what you're doing matters. We've been doing it here for over 300 podcasts, especially with lug nuts and over at all the stuff we do.
Yeah, we don't count anybody out. We don't care.
So I would love to have him on, especially because he's doing stuff like that, building other people up.
You have to splice this clip and let me show him, because he's gonna love it, because all he asked for is love in return, and that's my guy since I was essentially kids, right? And he deserves it. And there's something about music, original music, that does something to my psyche. When times, I work a lot, so and naturally you get tired like anybody else. And when it's time to endure that pain, you start thinking to yourself like, man, how am I going to take this pain today? Like, how is this humanly possible? Some people take pain meds or whatever. I don't do that. So what can I do? And oftentimes I don't find that it. But when that first beat hits, right? It's like I catch myself in a trance where I transform, and I don't tell myself that I'm transformed. I just noticed lately that it's been happening a lot, where I start believing who I am, and just it becomes reality. It's not an act no more.
It's funny you say that, Champ. It is so funny you say that, because there's actually been a medical study that says that certain music that operates at your individual frequency will null the senses and put you at solace. It is amazing. So
I believe that.
The nerves go away. Yeah, the nerves go. I could be freaking out about anything about the match, and the nerves go away, and it's just showtime. The light is on, and I start believing. I come out, and I'm gonna tell you, I leave. I go into the ring. Chris could probably attest to this. I'm constantly running my mouth from entrance all the way to the ring.
Oh yeah.
If you ask me, what are you saying? If you ask me, what am I saying? I can't repeat anything that I say because I do not know what I'm saying. I never know what I'm saying. Even if I watch the match over, I'm like, what was I saying? It's just, I just get into it and I start just running my mouth, because
every time I edit, I watch you about 6 or 7 times per clip or per clip video. So
it's one of the benefits of being an editor, being able to take a moment and then be able to relive it multiple times.
The one thing I tell myself is, and I think I'm really deliberate in my training. It's the military mindset. I practice how I fight, so I'm really proactive with convincing myself that I can't say certain things. So I don't know what I say. The thing is that I have to. The only thing I know is that if I see a kid, don't curse at the kid. You know what I mean? I don't even like cursing at grown-ups really, because I want that child to come back. And if you're mistreating a child, that parent's not going to want to pay to see you. And that's
Yep.
and I get that.
just having a decent command of the English language to show some level of intelligence.
Well, yes.
Right. There's certain arenas that you have to be a little bit aggressive. Like super crazy, it tends to be a little bit out there. And I'll let somebody know real quick. Watch yourself. And I'll be aggressive because that's what that area calls. But AAW, you got to really be mindful of the children, because it's all about the children, really, when you look at it.
Right.
So you have to know where you at. So I don't know what I say, but I just do know that kid, I could be disrespectful and I give them what they want. I shake their hands, but I can't belittle them, because what's the point of picking on a kid and making them feel like crap? You know what I mean? Let them hate me. Let them get over.
There's a better viewpoint that you're doing of that villain role. If you're not talking down to them, you could aspire to be like me. You're giving them a good villainous character. You know what I mean? You're almost like in that realm.
Stay as a kid. Stay in school. Don't do drugs because you end up like that guy. And I point to the guy. Yeah. You could be like me if you work hard. Sometimes I tell them. Most of the time I actually tell them, if you work hard, you could kind of get like me. But it's okay if you don't, because no one's gonna be like me realistically. But you could come really close, and being close will make you a winner. And I give him this advice, you know what I mean? Act like a gentleman. Keep your head up. Shake my hand when you look at me. I don't know. And it's like, I get booed for this.
That's all
Look at
really
your
not.
mom.
Honestly, that's not bad advice either.
Oh,
He's
look
not
at your
giving
mom. She's
bad
going
advice.
crazy
He's
for me.
giving really good advice.
Yeah, and then they get mad at me when I say, "Look at your mom. She's going nuts for me." But my daddy, your daddy can't do nothing. But it's not your daddy's fault that he can't beat me up. So I'm not here to trash your dad. I'm just saying, be the man that your mom inspires to be with, because it's not your father. Therefore, you shouldn't look up to him. Look up to me, and I'll show you the path. And one day, you can have a nice car, a nice house. You can have a pretty woman. Yes, you won't be as much of a champion as I am. You won't be as pretty as I am. You won't have the skill set that I am. But that doesn't mean, again, like I said earlier in the podcast, there's a lot of great wrestlers out there, and me being better than them does not diminish their accomplishments. These are really great, talented individuals. But in every contest, there has to be a hierarchy, right? You have your champions, you have your runner-ups, you have lower level champions, which are champions too. You know what I mean? It's different. It doesn't mean that you suck.
They're champions in their own right, but there's a reason for the card order for the reason.
Yeah, not
Right, like,
everybody
who's-
deserves a trophy.
Who's better? You know, who's better? And it's Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or Kobe Bryant. You know, I can tell you that Michael Jordan has more championships than the other two, but does that mean that the other two suck? They don't suck. You know
No,
what I
but
mean? It's just-
respectively, it is Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.
okay, and that could be it. Let's just say that objectively, that's the truth, right? Does Kobe and LeBron suck? Can we honestly say they stink?
No.
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 Yeah.
But you're not Jordan. And this is what it is to me. They're good, but they're not Jordan.
I mean, that's like saying, Elon sucks. Like, really? How many companies do you have?
Right.
How many of them have deals with the government? Not many. I'm going to say, probably not many of you.
No.
I myself am at time, but can I get one final request from you, champ?
Yeah, man.
Can I get a shut up Keener from you?
Yeah, I gotta be in the mood for that one. Oh man. Let's role play it. How about that?
All right.
So you go ahead. This is what's gonna happen. You're gonna greet me, right? You're gonna
Okay.
greet me. I'm gonna greet you back, and then you're gonna just ask me how I'm doing. Okay? That's how we're gonna play this. Action.
Welcome, champ. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great today, my man. How are you feeling?
I'm doing.
It doesn't matter. The champion right now is feeling great the way a champion could, because I can only feel good because I look good, I smell good, and I am just that good. Who are we gonna watch today? Some J Bros out here fighting for what? Not for me, because they can't see me yet.
Thank you. Thank you.
We just keep going and going and talking about the people who are wrestling, and it's a flow thing. You know what I mean? It's nothing. It doesn't even make you feel good at telling Keener to shut up.
I tell him to shut up, and that's not even on commentary.
It's good. It just feels good in here.
I had the most fun with you.
Keener, though, because you know he took a tongue lashing from me, and I think that it wasn't. I don't think he deserved all of that, but I was in the moment. I was watching my guys wrestle. I was really.
He was trashing a little bit of First Class. He would then trash them and then go back to saying how great they are, and then trash them again because he was Riot City's boy.
Okay, so then you know what? I don't feel bad anymore. I was kind of thinking I went a little too hard on him, and I shouldn't have done that. But you know what? Apology recanted.
Yeah, no, perfect.
Keener.
Perfect response. Perfect response. You did nothing wrong, as always, champ. Nothing at all.
Yeah, right.
And I'm sure you will continue to be the champ, and we'll continue to have you on this podcast because we need to continue to have great people on this show to show other people that you're not going to get this great, clearly, but you could like shoot for the moon, or what is it? Shoot for the stars, and you'll land on the moon.
You'll fall. You'll land amongst the clouds.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? That's pretty high, right?
It's up there. It's up there. I think that's enough.
So that's not too bad, you know. Sometimes
Shoot for the moon, but you'll still be chasing Tony Leyanda. That's what it is.
I think that second place is first loser, right? But when you're chasing La Maldita Crema, you have to be really, really proud of yourself that you come in second.
You gotta alter your expectations there to where, like, okay, well, nobody could be that good, but I'm that good. Like, I'm just under. I'm number 2.
You guys are talking about vision board. We're talking about vision board last show. When you do a vision board, good way to attack a goal is by using the acronym SMART, right? And the R in SMART stands for realistic. You have to be realistic with the goals you set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can I be like La Crema? No. Realistically, is genetically impossible.
Yeah.
But can I try to be really good? Of course. With hard work and effort, anything is achievable except for beating the champ.
That's the ultimate goal that we needed people
There
to
you
know.
go.
You can't physically hunt this man. He'll beat you. It'll be
I think
it'll be a little bit embarrassing for you.
Tony Leyanda right now.
Yeah, you know.
No, it's not embarrassing. It's not embarrassing to lose to the very best in the industry.
Okay.
Nah, that should be another stripe added to their shirt. You know what I mean? Like that's
A
leveling
medal of
up
honor,
right there.
you know.
Medal of honor, if you will. You know what I mean?
I
That's
got
not too
beat
bad.
by the champ. That's what that says on the medal. Like, you know, they know who it is.
You got to say, I got beat by La Crema. This way, there's some flair to it.
Yeah, La Crema. You know, that's me. That's me. It's not my alter ego. That's who I am. I didn't give myself that moniker, La Crema. You know, the cream. You know, some people want to get funny. La Crema. Oh, the cream. That sounds weird. Why does it sound weird? Oh, the cream of the crop and this and that. And it's when I call myself La Crema, it's weird. I just think people find ways to hate when there's nothing to be hated on, right?
Yeah.
Have people never heard of Wu-Tang? Cream?
Cream. But see,
of
that's
the
an
best
acronym.
songs?
That stands for something else. But have they not heard of Macho Man, the cream of the crop? You know
There
what I
you
mean? Hell, Stan Styles is
always rises to the top, brother.
This is a part of American lexicon, right? And all of a sudden they want to make fun of me,
No.
but people hate what they can't understand. You know what I mean?
Once again, it's them. It's them, champ. It's
Yeah.
you
It
just
is a them thing. It's not a me thing.
So we're ending on it. It's not me. It's you.
It's you.
really. I mean, a lot of situations in the day to day. I feel that this kind of fits. So, especially when we're talking about the champ here, it's about like 90. What is that thing on the soap dispenser? 99.99% of the time, it's you. Even that 0.01% still kind of.
It reminds me of that Simpsons episode. It'd be like, we got to open up, don't divorce your wife, fortune cookies.
And on that note, champ, I want all of our fans to hunt you, and I want to continue to see your continued success on the stage of all the wrestling leagues around here, because I think they all need to hunt you as well. You have the stage presence of a champion, and honestly, they need to highlight the champion, and that's how everybody else will get better, by accepting greatness.
Can they hunt me, please? I'm having this troubling time right now, especially on social media, where people want to ask for autographs, take pictures, and yet they don't support by buying merchandise or by even clicking a like on the video or following. I'm like, if you don't want to buy merchandise, fine. Follow. Click a like, costs $0.00. Can they really harm me for once? I mean, I'm trying to work hard to provide content for people that they'll enjoy. Whether they hate it or not, it's going to elicit a response. And the hate that I generate is not like, oh my God, change the channel. It's, oh my God, can you believe this jerk? He's so obnoxious. Or, oh my God, can you believe this guy? He's so beautiful. Either way, you're going to have.
It was the Howard Stern effect.
You know what though? It's honestly, it's gonna be more efficient for them if they just follow, because then they don't have to type your name every time to try to be secretive about it. Just look, follow.
Just follow.
It's right there. You can still hate. Just go ahead. It's easier on your fingers.
It's Tony Leyanda on Instagram, Tony Leyanda on Facebook, Tony Leyanda.
Damn.
Uh-oh.
He just dropped.
I think his battery died. But
Yes, his battery just died.
Oh no!
Oh,
There he is.
or
There he
he
is.
hit,
Or
He hit the wrong button.
that's the media trying to take you out, champ. They just said, where
You see
is
what
he?
I mean?
Cut his feed. We got to stop greatness, but they can't stop
I
greatness.
said Tony Leyanda on X, and it just bloop.
Fucking Elon, calm down, bro.
Is he hunting me right now, Elon? I'm giving you a shout out, brother.
Calm down, man. He's talking about you. It wasn't anything
Throw me a
bad.
couple mil. I just put the guy over. Throw me a couple mil, Elon. Jeez.
We just got a really great deal with the government for spy satellites. He's got the coin.
Gosh. But is that
So,
easy?
so Champ, we will see you on.
Trying hard, you know?
Champ, we will see you on Friday the 22nd. On April 4th and 5th, we will be there. And then I know you and I have a showing for May 18th as well.
I can't wait to see Connor at all those shows not eating anything. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm going to point it out every time. Every time. I'm going to be like, hey, what are you doing, bud? You eating? Do I got to get Tony out here? Do I got to call the champ? We all know what is going to happen.
You gotta watch him, but you might try to roundhouse me.
I'm going to mess with him so much.
That's going to be great.
I can't wait. I can't wait now. But
It's definitely been a pleasure, Champ.
It's been an absolute blast, man. You're
Absolutely.
always welcome on the podcast, and I always like to end off this podcast the same way. We love you, we miss you, and we want to see you next time. Until then, game on, boys and girls. Bye-bye.
Friends.
Well, thank you, Champ.
Thank you so much, man.
Been a pleasure.
It's great. Thank you,
Hope
guys.
you had a good time. Thank you for entertaining us.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for having me. We'll do it again whenever you guys want.
our forum is your forum. Whenever you need to promote something, just hop right on.
Pop on the soapbox. That's what it's here for, man.
I appreciate that.
I'll fast line this podcast so I can get it out in time for all the events.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got to get it out before Friday, so, you know.
I'm obviously about to be very busy because mascot Link Diablo Hero at Time has plans. And they're either going to come out on this carpet or in my backyard. So I will see you, gentlemen. My dog has to go this time.
Take care, champ. Thanks so much, man.
Later, guys.
Frank, if
Oh yeah. Well, I have to get another one because I didn't really look at what I was buying, and I bought one in Spanish. So that always helps. Yeah.
I'm on like page 2.
What's up, dude?
One punch. Oh, 6. All right, Chris.
he's playing it for trading.
This is now a new end credit. All right. Calm down, man. So we have a new question on this podcast, and it's your favorite Pop-Tart, and how do you eat it? Because of my coming on with comics and Pop-Tarts, Frank is apparently like a sadist in Big Brother's eyes because, you know, blueberry untoasted.
It could be way more enjoyable.
Toasty.
Brown sugar, cinnamon, toasted.
Okay. Brown
Broken up in
sugar,
little
cinnamon
pieces.
toasted for old man.
Right.
With
That's really good.
hot tea.
Toast.
A little tea, okay. And
Toast.
toast.
Connor, what Pop-Tart do you like?
Toast.
Connor, what Pop-Tart do you like? Brown cinnamon sugar.
Oh, for a second there, I thought he said Robitussin, and I'm like, damn, this kid's smart. He's going places in comedy. Robitussin, like, okay, all right, I didn't know they had that. It sounds nasty, but
It's called grape.
It heals good though, you know.
you know,
Oh, how's that microphone working out for you, by the way?
oh, this is great. I mean, it's just like people are like, oh, it's, you know, the sound quality is perfect and all that, because once you get that program on the computer, it's like, oh, I don't have to be overmodulated. I can just have the microphone. I just swing this thing the other way when I'm done, and I swing it back.
That.
I move it onto the coffee table. The what do they call this?
The mount.
The foldable table. Used to be a fucking word for that I'm brain farting on. Because I saw the one thing Tony was linked to with the suplex. He said, "What? Just a suplex?" I was like, "Is it though? Was that just a suplex?"
Is there anything as just a suplex? Huh?
I don't
I don't know.
It was a bit suggestive.
Is it just cornhole?
Forgive me if I have to look down because I'm inking something for the 30th. That
We already know that you already looked down on
you
us.
got to be there March 30th on McDade Boulevard. You got to be there.
Comic Universe.
Hey, Frank Percy will be attending Comic Universe on March 30th.
Yeah, man. I'm excited about that one, Frank. It's really, really good. I think that we've been talking about this, like you appearing at a comic store, and Comic Universe is right there, just like the one down there, I think, in
you appearing.
Middletown.
Middletown?
Yeah, remember the people from Blue Hen? They were like, "Oh, I have this comic store down here. We want you to do an appearance."
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I'm always, down for that. It's just making my way out there, and I got to probably connect with them again because
that's what I say. They were really nice. They were a nice couple. They were really, really friendly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And especially once Caribe the Hunted comes out, that's another place for you to shop at, maybe. You know what I'm saying? That's the marketing right there. We're all on the same level. You know what I mean? Dude, snowballs. I told you, it's a snowball, man. It's just building up steam. All the guys, they love to say the snowball metaphor when I'm at work. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to have this guy on. They'll be like, oh, dude, I'm telling you, it's building. It's building. I'm like, yeah, man, I got to leave early this Friday because I got a wrestling event I got to be a cameraman at. I'm telling you, dog, this is how it starts. It's fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like all this stuff. Like going to a con with Frank. Like, okay, I know the next one, media.
I just told him to click on the name Tales of the Hunted under livecasts.
Well, in the Discord, he has to go to Projangers and Wallhangers page or his messages to where he'll see in messages. I just sent him a link to join.
Fair enough.
I'm also very happy that you joined this podcast to work out these technical issues that I never get to. And usually by now, I would have went over to Facebook chat and said, fuck it, we'll do it this way. That's what I did with James Stokes. He's like, I don't know. I was like, hang on, we're working this out. And I called him and Mike, and I was like, let's go. It was a good podcast, though. In that podcast, I forgot to type out Eastern Standard Time. So James in Central Time thought we were both on the same page.
That's funny.
Yeah, so instead of Frank, I got Mike to sub in as an audible, because man's got stuff to do,
Yeah?
But luckily, I think we can work through these technical issues and come to a resolve. Or we'll just end up doing a Facebook chat.
I just think we just open a Facebook.
There we go.
Is this him?
Oh,
Is this him?
Oh, ye of little faith.
Friends.